Hey friends, welcome to today's video. Today is going to be the greatest day of your life. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. Can you guess who said that? You might be surprised. It was actually Albert Einstein. You see, most of us would assume that Einstein favored logic over intuition, yet actually the reverse is true. You see, Einstein understood that intuition is a form of intelligence that goes beyond the rational mind. It eavesdrops on the mind of the universe, giving us access to infinite possibilities. And many people believe that only certain people have access to intuition. However, there is absolutely no basis or foundation for this belief. Every single one of us has been gifted with an intuitive factor. And when you or I tap into our intuitive mind, we connect to the perfect, unlimited side of ourselves. The deep spiritual essence of who we are. And that allows us to accomplish uncommon things. You see, for example, highly effective salespeople, lawyers also have developed an intuitive factor, successful business individuals, and they all stand out in their respective fields because they've trained themselves to pick up on people's energy instead of just hearing what they're saying. And it's likely that at least once in your lifetime, you've experienced the magical power of intuition as well. And I'm sure you have. Think of a time when someone looked into your eyes and told you they loved you or promised they were going to do something and you absolutely knew they were lying. Or a time you sensed something was wrong with a loved one, but they assured you everything was fine. And then later you found out that the person was, in fact, facing a serious problem. We've all experienced this over our lives, right? And it was your intuitive factor that enabled you to pick up on those unspoken messages. You see, you often hear people say that intuition is a sixth sense, and I believe they're wrong. Intuition is not a sense at all. It's a mental faculty that's innate within us, part of being a human being, that enables us to tune into the universe's energies by sensing vibrations from others and objects. I believe it's 100% true. Think of it this way. You can use it to read other people, since everyone is a mass of energy, and your intuitive factor will pick up vibrations coming from that person. And quite often, if you have a close relationship with someone, you'll be able to easily pick up what they're thinking even before they verbally express it to you. I have that with my spouse. We are pretty much one and the same person. I can look at her and I know exactly what she's thinking. And I'm sure you probably have somebody in your life where you're close like that and you feel the exact same way. It enhances our love, it enhances our understanding, and it makes me want to be with her even more. It's an attraction factor, I guess. I just love the intuition that we share together. And you don't have to take my word for it, though. Test it for yourself. Try this. Over the next week, whenever you're with a person with whom you have built an excellent rapport and feel they are thinking about something in particular, tell them what you think and listen to their feedback. Be aware that a person could be saying one thing and yet thinking another. However, when you receive your intuitive messages, they will never lie to you. And with practice, you will eventually get to the point where you will pay closer attention to what you're receiving rather than the words that you're hearing. And it's awesome. My wife will always say, I have a hunch about this, and I get hunches too. But when you're in tune with your intuition, you receive flashes of insight and leaps of creativity that your logical, linear mind could not make on its own. However, you must be paying attention. If you're not paying attention, these fleeting images can just go by and you can just consider them a part of your normal thought process. You need to develop your intuitive factor by paying attention to things you would typically not attach any importance to. Think of it this way. Notice the feelings you get and the thoughts that you have that knock on the door of your mind that you might ordinarily dismiss. Now, those feelings, or what my wife calls hunches, are all valuable messages from the universe meant to guide you in the right direction. Now, I say messages from the universe. People are going to say, oh, well, this is all magic and hocus pocus. This is a real thing. And I know you've probably heard it called many other things over the years, but we've all felt this, and it's absolutely real. And once you start paying attention, you're going to be surprised how often the voice of intuition tries to reach you during the day. It's amazing. I know it sounds like, oh, this is one of those things. It's a conspiracy thing, or it's weird, or it's a mental ideology that's not provable. But I'm going to tell you what, when you start feeling your way through life, paying attention to your feelings and hunches, and stay open and flexible instead of rigidly sticking to a plan, I'm telling you what, it'll change things for you. It's amazing. It costs nothing to test it out. Just start paying attention to the thoughts and messages you're receiving that are coming from a positive and uplifting place. When it feels uplifting and positive, it's a message you should pay attention to. When you're nervous, anxious, or you're getting like emotions, then that's all coming from your conscious thought processes. That's not a message or anything you'd need to discern or make changes based upon. Now, one of the most valuable mental tools you possess is your intuitive factor. Now, how about this? We must walk consciously only partway toward our goal and then leap in the darkness to our success. And that was said by Henry David Thoreau. And I agree with Thoreau, because when you're going for a big goal, we have to jump into the unknown at some point, right? We're not going to know everything. Sometimes we're walking down a dark path towards the light. However, you need to keep something in mind. If you leap into the dark without being clear on what you want or where you're going, you are definitely rolling the dice, and there's no telling where you're going to land. You see, to reach your goal, you must bring your heartfelt desires into focus and put your heart-centered attention on what you're envisioning. And we've talked about doing this. I think this is something that's not new to you. But if you do tap into your intuitive mind, you're going to get there much faster, because you'll connect to the perfect, unlimited side of yourself that can help guide you to your intended destination, and it works like magic. If you or someone has followed hunches in the past only to be deeply disappointed with the results, you may be wondering where things went wrong. And that's where we get to the point where, is it my intuition that's trying to guide me, or is it my ego? And reaching lofty goals or making important decisions are best made by our intuitive mind, informed by our past choices and experiences. You see, the universal mind has been keeping tabs. However, if the models you've built over time for making quick decisions are defective, you're likely to suffer from unconscious incompetence. And we've talked about being a conscious competent and an unconscious competent. You'll make poor choices and judgment in your life and business if you don't pay attention to your intuitive factors. Now, having a strong desire for something is not a reason to ignore your intuition. However, when you receive guidance, it may not always be easy to discern if it's coming from your ego, your conscious mind, or your intuition. And you can let that guide your next move if it's coming from your intuition. But how do you tell the difference between the two? Well, think of it this way. First, become aware of the feeling that is behind the guiding thought. If you're feeling anxious, insecure, or tense from the thought, it's likely coming from your ego. Now, if you're feeling uplifted and like the idea is coming from a loving, authentic place, that's your intuition. Second, learn to observe and work to improve the details that inform your intuitive thinking to help you make better gut decisions. And by working on noticing situations, recognizing patterns, and recurring thoughts, you will be able to better receive guidance each day, and you can get better at making gut decisions by doing so. It helps also to practice mindfulness as well. And we talked about mindful meditation, going someplace quiet. First thing in the morning, when you're getting ready for work, stop for a moment, sit down somewhere, take a deep breath, calm your mind, let the thoughts flow into your mind and out of your mind without you judging or really recognizing the thoughts themselves for discernment by your logical mind, okay? Just let the thoughts flow through your mind and take a deep breath, then release that breath. Take another deep breath, then release that breath. And you'll notice you're feeling more calm as you take the deep breaths. Breathing therapy is very good for us. It's good for us mentally and physically. Once you calm down and relax, ask for guidance for the day. Then, as you go throughout your day, pay attention to the messages that come into your mind as you engage in different activities. Have you ever been given a suggestion or an idea to take a certain action, but you just dismiss it? Well, I'm not going to do that right now. I'm doing something else. But sometimes life will guide you in a different direction, and there's a reasoning behind that guidance. And it's always fun to find out what the reasoning was and where you go, because it could change everything for you and make everything bigger and better than it's ever been. So take advantage of your intuition. Believe it's a real thing. Acknowledge it and listen for it, because it's going to come to you and it can help you in various ways. I think you'll really appreciate this idea the more you give your attention to it over the coming days. Try it for the next week. Just ask for guidance each morning and then see what type of guidance is actually provided to you. You're stronger and more powerful than you think, and you have it all within you to take yourself to the next level and where you want to go in life. I believe in you. I know that if anybody can do it, you can. And lastly, as always, I care about you, my friends, and I want you to have a beautiful day. I'll talk to you tomorrow about some more great stuff, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Take care of yourselves. Talk to you tomorrow.